Okay, great. Good.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, Eric.
Any questions or anybody need anything before we start? Okay, great. Once you follow me, we'll start the hike. Okay.
Yes.
Aaron, why don't you just come down a little bit
I don't
past
do
the
that.
kiosk
I
here,
know you're doing good.
and we'll get people to kind of come in. Hey folks, so where we're going right now, we're about to enter Kent Bog St. Nature Preserve. I'm going to educate you a little bit about bogs before we begin so you have an understanding of what it is we're actually walking into. A bog is a type of wetland, basically. There's lots of different types of wetlands throughout Ohio. Unfortunately, most of the majority of the wetlands that were once here are gone, disappeared completely due to agricultural reasons or urban sprawl or development. A bog, again, a particular type of wetland. It's usually characterized by an acidic environment. It's closely related to and has similar characteristics of a fen, which is another type of wetland. They're both basically delineated or characterized by the acidity or alkalinity of the water within that wetland. A bog tends to be acidic, and a fen tends to be alkaline. And the reason that is by the way that the water is actually feeding into those systems and the substrate that it's passing through. In a bog environment, we have, what we're getting right now, precipitation basically coming down into the depression of the bog. That creates an acidic quality to the water, which is a limiting factor, and that just means that only certain plant species can thrive in that type of an environment. In a fen system, water is entering into the fen usually through an aquifer or a groundwater table, and it's coming up and it's passing through usually limestone sediments. And that limestone makes the water alkaline, so it's higher on the pH scale, where a 7 is neutral, kind of like your drinking water. Think of that as neutral 7. Your alkaline systems are higher, usually around a 9 or a 10, and your acid systems are around a 4 and a 5 on the pH scale. So depending on whether you have a bog or a fen, that will depend on the acidity or alkalinity of the water, and that will determine the type of vegetation that grows there. In some instances, you can have almost like both existing together. You can have bog and fen characteristics in the same spot. Some of the plant species that we're going to see in here, especially the tamarack tree, is one of those plant species that can grow in just about either environment. So, any questions about what a bog or a fen is characteristically? Now, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Bog goes back to ancient times, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Formation